If a loved one who had passed away a few days prior called you, how would you respond? Nobody anticipated that this man would use his closest friend's phone to make calls after placing it in the friend's casket. The dead guy made calls, but how? Let's investigate as a group. The day before, Alfred had called him and came off as really anxious. He said he couldn't give over the information over the phone for fear that someone might hear him. When Darius received the call, he was just getting set to meet his friend in an hour. Hello? Is this Darius? Hey dude, I'm almost here. In a few minutes I would be there, Darius said. The caller then identified themselves as coming from the hospital in a voicemail. At this point he realized he wasn't talking to his pal. Darius was uneasy. He sensed something wasn't right. This is Darius, he said. The person speaking added, Your friend Alfred was involved in an accident, and unfortunately we lost him 10 minutes ago. Darius heard those last words from the emergency worker, however they weren't all that they said. Sure, he was still hooked to his phone, but for a few seconds, everything seemed to halt, and all he could think of was his closest friend's passing. Alfred was dead by the time he got to the hospital. Darius was given his stuff by the staff since, as his buddy had arranged, he was the one to be contacted in the event that Alfred had an emergency. Darius experienced an inexplicable sense of emptiness after that. Nothing seemed to matter to him, and he felt numb. He was bidding farewell to his friend at the funeral just now, keeping his empty feeling well hidden behind his thick sunglasses. As one might assume, he was grieving at the loss of his close buddy, but his obsession with figuring out who killed him kept him going. Darius was adamant on figuring out who killed his friend, since he thought it was the case. Thus, just as Alfred's casket was ready to be buried, he did something unexpected. Darius stated, "No one is going to need this anymore," as he placed Alfred's phone into the casket. What use is a phone to a deceased person? Why had I done it anyway? Or perhaps it just demonstrated how hard it is to say goodbye to a lifelong friend. Alfred and Darius resembled two peas in a pod. Since they were 3 years old, the two had been pals, and nothing, not even college, could pull them apart. They both attended law school at the same time because they both wanted to be attorneys. Alfred may be coaxed out of his shell by Darius. His closest buddy was dragged to the gatherings they went by him, the outgoing one who received the invitations. Naomi and Alfred first met at a party. When their connection continued longer than any of his prior romances, he knew that things were very serious. However, not everyone was in favor of their union. She's just not the right person for you, in my opinion. She seems strange in some way. She is not someone I trust, and I don't think you should either. Darius remarked, I don't think she's who she says she is. But Alfred said he had no reason to distrust the lady he loved until he had some tangible evidence. 2 weeks later, Darius witnessed something at a gathering without Alfred that validated his long-held beliefs. He observed Naomi provocatively dancing with another man. Alfred was taken aback to see her busting out her best moves on the dance floor because she had informed him that she wasn't feeling well and would be spending the weekend at her parents' place. Alfred said, If you saw what you just said, why didn't you take a picture or video? After he told him what he had seen. Thus, once more, you lack evidence. Naomi was in bed and exhausted when I spoke with her earlier in the evening via video conference. She wasn't dancing at a party. Why are you making such a big effort to split us up? Darius was made to appear like the demon once more. His best buddy was blinded by love, and he didn't trust a word Darius said. How would you respond in such a circumstance? In their last year in college, Naomi received a proposal from Alfred. Naturally, she accepted, and they decided on a wedding date. Shortly afterward, Darius expressed his concerns once more and cast doubt on Alfred's fiancée. This time, the two got into a heated argument and cut off communication. Though Darius had also moved out of the house, these two pals had known each other for their whole lives. Everyone was taken aback to see that Darius and Alfred were no longer hanging around. Despite the greatest attempts of their parents to bring them together, they shunned one another and maintained their distance. During the graduation ceremony, they hardly exchanged words, and guess what? Naomi was the one who persuaded them to snap a photo together. However, the relationship didn't improve despite this. Their careers were taking off after they were hired by respectable companies in their city. Darius went to see his pal 1 month prior to their wedding. He told him, "Boy, Your wedding is in a few weeks, at the door. Do you believe I will pass up the opportunity to be the best man? It only took that for them to get back together. Although the wedding of Alfred and Naomi was a wonderful event, Darius's observation of his friend's wife in a different circumstance a few weeks later cast doubt on her faithfulness. He caught a glimpse of Naomi as he entered the hotel for a meeting with a customer who was also the property owner. The lawyer was the first to see her, but he looked away as soon as he realized she wouldn't think he was gazing at her. She hurried out of the hotel as soon as she thought he hadn't noticed her. When Darius spotted Naomi, she was holding hands with another man. When he inquired about them, his customer informed him that the pair frequently stayed at the hotel. Naomi declared her pregnancy 2 weeks following this occurrence. Darius didn't want to lose his buddy Alfred twice, so he wasn't sure what to do when he had suspicions that the baby wasn't Alfred's. But a week later, Alfred found out for himself what had really happened. After leaving her phone open while going to grab him a drink, Naomi got a message revealing she was having an affair with him. She was not just unfaithful, but also the girlfriend of a crime leader, with whom she had collaborated to murder several of his rivals. While returning to the parlor, Alfred went outside and made a call to his friend. In approximately an hour, "May I catch up with you in the bar? You were correct in everything you stated, but I'm not sure what it was over the phone." Naomi discovered in the parlor that he had viewed her messages and tainted his drink prior to his return. Alfred's accident was caused by the poisoning that started while he was driving to see Darius. Darius placed Alfred's phone in the coffin during the burial to assist him in locating the necessary truth. Nobody at the funeral realized that he had taken out his friend's SIM card. Then Darius used Alfred's number to contact Naomi. She didn't answer the first time since she was so shocked to see from what number was it derived. Darius was relentless and continued phoning her many times a day, which made her believe that maybe her mind was playing tricks on her. By displaying Naomi the missed calls, he even managed to persuade her that Alfred was phoning him as well. The widow was scared by then. One day, she got an SMS from Alfred's phone and she lost it all. 3 words came out of it. "You killed me." She began to really believe that her husband's spirit was haunting her. All she wanted was for the calls to end. Then Darius contacted her again, this time using voice replica software to sound like Alfred. She answered the phone this time and begged Alfred to stop calling. "I apologize for poisoning you. Kindly let me be alone myself." He forced me to do it, so I had no option. He would have taken our lives together. Naomi was unaware that a recording was being made of the call. She told everything about herself. Additionally, Darius learned that the child she was carrying wasn't Alfred's. He sought justice for his closest buddy by using the call that was captured. After being found guilty, Naomi and her lover were sentenced to life in prison. How do you feel about these 2 friends' story? Do you believe Darius had more time to uncover Naomi before to Alfred's passing? Let me know in the comments. Until we meet again.